Good morning, TFS. It is Friday, February the 19th, 2021. Friday, the Friday after Ash Wednesday. Again, not the 40 days proper. We are on the Lenten journey, yes, but it is not the 40 days proper that begins on Sunday. This is just Friday after Ash Wednesday. Coming to you this morning from the side of Siena Hall, again, next to the wetlands, as you can see, which are very wet. But what also happens sometimes when they get really wet like this, we get the runoff into the culvert over here. And so the runoff becomes this beautiful little babbling brook, which is a very nice, relaxing, and peaceful place to be. If it wasn't so rainy or so cold or whatever it is today, you can set up a chair and listen to the brook and meditate. So it's kind of a neat little feature that happens here on the campus at times after heavy rains, as we've had in the past, or as we had recently. Today's gospel, again, on this Friday after Ash Wednesday. Again, remember, these days before the first Sunday of Lent are days in which to gather together the responsibilities of the Lenten disciplines of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving, generosity. Again, generosity, what we are asked to do at this time of the year, not necessarily at Christmas, to be generous to one another, especially those who are less fortunate and who cannot help themselves enough. But today, our focus is on fasting. And Jesus asks us to really look at what fasting means. The gospel, again, speaks of the Pharisees being angry because the fasting practices that the apostles are ignoring or not doing are not what good Jews should be ignoring and not doing. And so Jesus basically responds with, if the bridegroom is present, how can the wedding guests fast? When the bridegroom is taken away, then they will fast. Okay, that's true, and that's right. And Jesus is referring basically to his passion and death, in which there is no more joy at the moment, and there is fasting perhaps happening. What has happened with Holy Mother Church, however, sometimes is that, again, we misread something, and we keep misreading it, and misreading it, and misreading it. If Jesus has risen from the dead, and as at the end of John's Gospel says, I am with you until the end of time, well, then he is with us always. The bridegroom is never apart from us. And so the question of why we are fasting and what is going on with fasting needs always to be reconsidered again year after year. Because it's not fasting because food is bad or we're terrible or awful, or again, we have to make ourselves suffer or deprive ourselves to make God happy, because that is ridiculous, foolish, and a lie. Stop believing it. We fast to open ourselves up to what needs to be done, with the joy that our God is always with us, that the Christ is risen, that God is never apart from us. And so that reading from Isaiah, the first reading, in which God basically doesn't want ridiculous, meaningless, stupid fasts. God wants us not to just fast for ourselves, to navel gaze at ourselves, but to reach out and help, support, care, nurturing to one another. That is the fast that pleases God, Isaiah says. Again, a fast that redirects what is important in our life to what must be important in our life. We fast to remember, again, what we have done and what we have failed to do. And we don't remember what we have failed to do, so we make ourselves guilty and beat ourselves up about it. We remember what we have failed to do so that we may go out and do it. So do it. Again, Lent is a time of doing, not sitting back, basically, and waiting for the resurrection to happen. We are people who realize that Christ is risen from the dead, and given that great responsibility to go out and proclaim it to the world in the way that we do it best, is in our care, our love, our nurturing, our support, our encouragement of one another. And may the Lord give you peace.